And I'm joined now by the talent director from the Greater St. Cloud Development Corporation, Gail Cruikshank, and Patti Gartland, president of the Greater St. Cloud Development Corporation. Thank you both for coming in.
Thank you. You betcha. Great to be here.
And it's great to see you. And it's been a little while. Gail, we've been doing this for a long time, and the last year plus, we've been doing these remotely.
That's right.
So it's good to have you back. I'm going to have to move that closer to the microphone. You've always had your own microphone you had to use when we used the Teams setting, which was great, and I have a feeling we'll be using that more at some point. There'll be always reasons to have that. And so that's one of the benefits I think came out of COVID.
Yeah, I think so too.
We learned how to use different technology better.
Right.
And some people I thought would never even think of using that type of technology learned how to use it. So it's even better.
And I think we've kind of dispelled some of the myths about, is remote work really going to be highly productive? And I think we found that, for myself anyway, I think I'm even more productive.
Yeah. I've heard a lot of people say that, and it seems like it's kind of a mixed bag. It's some people are more productive and others are not motivated enough because they're not working around others.
Right, or too many distractions.
Right, yeah. And sometimes at home you'll get that.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the labor workforce availability study. Okay, so this is a great topic because there's so many people wanting to hire and they can't find people to go and fill these jobs. Right. So tell me about the study, Patti.
It actually was a survey that came out of our hearing from a lot of the employers in our region about their major challenge being trying to find their workforce and have their workforce needs. And we've been hearing an interesting array of why that might be, and thought it would be helpful for us and for others to try to get a better handle on what is the scope of challenge that's out there, what's the nature of that challenge, and what our employers think are the contributing factors to it, so that we could better target our work and our efforts to try to influence that. So we did do a survey of area employers across our region and had over 215 responses, giving us a much better sense of the scope of what they were facing and what they were identifying as the contributing factors.
Okay, and what did you find out? What are the contributing factors? I mean, that's the suspense here.
Well, I think, there's a couple of them that we've been doing work in that Gail has been particularly engaged in. Childcare challenges during the peak of COVID. Of course, we had people at home needing to be home to care for sick folks, or having children at home doing the remote learning. But one that surfaced out of this survey, more recent contributing factor, is the unemployment benefits that are out there, and that it is contributing to folks choosing to max out their benefit eligibility before actually looking to return to work. And so the scope of that was revealed in this survey, and it's pretty significant.
So that's set to expire in September.
The federal benefit is set to expire in early September.
Is there a state benefit that's going to continue beyond that?
There's the underlying state unemployment benefits that have been in place and will, as we understand, will remain in place.
Okay.
And, I think it's important to understand that the unemployment assistance program is a very important program and needs to exist. It's really just that supplemental payment that's been coming through as part of the pandemic response, and also the way it's been enforced. So part of what we did then, once we got the benefit of the survey results, was started looking at what are we thinking then needs to happen. And so we did come up with some strategies that we've shared with our state elected officials and our state government agency leadership to suggest ways in which they could be influencing and helping motivate more people to move off of the unemployment and into jobs sooner rather than later.
Is that the biggest factor?
According to our survey, that was the strongest, the highest percentage, but they also identified some other contributing factors, but it was, I believe it was like 56%.
It was.
Okay. I know I've had a few conversations in the last month or so with individuals about this particular topic. And when I talked to King Banyan, who you're probably familiar with, the economist over at St. Cloud State, he told me that one of the researches is they found is that the age group between 20 and 24 was the age group that has not gone back to the workforce larger than any other age group. And that would make sense considering that it seems like restaurant, retail are probably hurting the most for workers.
Yeah, it's really primarily in that $15 to $20 an hour range for salary. And then also a lot of those folks that you mentioned, they're preferring to stay working remote, and they're even considering who they work for based on the fact, can they work remotely? And they're turning down jobs if they can't either remain remote or if they don't offer a remote type setting. And so, again, that helps speak to that childcare issue that they might be having on the home front as well. But just those preferences of people like that remote work ability, and they feel they're more productive that way, and they can do that work-life balance, which is very important.
Right. So getting back to normal, it was always going to be a gradual thing, but this was kind of an unforeseen issue, or did we see this coming?
I think it was anticipated, but the dial turned pretty quickly, and there wasn't a whole lot of preparation time to when the governor, dialed back and allowed businesses to reopen. And I think it brought that challenge forward in a more significant way. And it's, I think the other piece of it is we individually probably see it more in our day-to-day lives when we're trying to go to retail or restaurants, but our manufacturers are really having a hard time also and not being able to meet their production requirements, and then the driver shortage, not being, having delays in their raw material or their final product shipments also. So it's there's a variety of different ways it's impacting our economy, and it's not unique to our region. I mean, everyone, is experiencing this, but, what we think is unique to our region is our approach to trying to get in front of these issues and influence them sooner and in a more significant way than others.
Can you get to some statistics, Gail, about what was determined here based on the surveys and study?
Sure, absolutely. Some of the most compelling ones, as Patti mentioned, that 56% felt it was based on that stimulus and extra benefits. But, the concerning ones also were 28% said that they had quit thinking about expansion. Our companies are ready to grow. They want to, continue to develop in our community. And again, they can't if they don't have those workers to do that. The other one that was pretty compelling to us was 22% said that newly hired people only remained on the job less than 30 days. So again, even if somebody took a job, maybe they just took it for a day or two, decided it wasn't a good fit, and then they have left that work. But the other one also that I thought was compelling is 43% of our employers said that even after they called somebody for an interview that had applied, that applicant didn't come in for the interview. Either they no-showed or they canceled. So again, that whole process that Patti referred to as if job seekers are looking for employment, there needs to be a little bit more check and balance on the side of, okay, are you looking truly, and what jobs are you looking for, and hopefully maybe incentivizing those job seekers to get back to work instead of paying them to stay at home. That was really some of the compelling things that we talked about with our local legislators, just to kind of flip the dial a little bit and think about it another way is let's get them back to work because we know we have lots of opportunity. And even if somebody's job might look different, maybe the industry they left has changed, but there's so many training opportunities. There's so many opportunities for them to really re-engage in the workforce how they would like to. We've got over 7,000 jobs on JobSpot again this morning. So again, that's all within the 3-county radius. So jobs are there. We just got to get those job seekers back to work.
Yeah, for sure. We've got just a few minutes left. This always goes by really fast, and this is a topic we could probably spend hours on. I have a feeling. What can we do? I mean, if you're someone listening to this and you want to be helpful to help the employers or employees get out there, what kind of suggestions do you have?
I think the couple of things that we wanted to highlight is, employers, we know we're going to have a surge in September, right? Or we're hopeful that, again, all these people will need to come back to work. Are you prepared as an employer to really do a quick and thorough interview application process? And then again, are you that employer of choice? Look at your own employment. Is your place the place that you want, that you think everybody will want to come to? What are you doing to make yourself unique and different? Are you offering those other benefits that maybe some others aren't? Some have talked about doing some incentive. If you come to work by this time, you might get an extra bonus or that sort of thing. And for job seekers, there is lots of opportunity. I think you should start now. You shouldn't wait till September. You're not going to be able to get that job that you like right when the dial switches over. So start, interviewing, start exploring, because there's great jobs out there, and, you want to get the best one that's the best fit for you.
Right. And do we think that things are going to change dramatically in September? I know it's asking you to try to speculate here, but based on your survey and just guessing on how people might go, what do you think? I mean, is September going to be a turning point in getting people back to work?
I think it is going to be a turning point. The scope or degree of what that looks like, I think, is what's unknown. But, we're hearing a lot of people who are talking about kids are going back to, school in the fall. And I think it's just such a turning point. And the, federal stimulus unemployment benefits, unless they get renewed, which we're all hoping won't be the case,
Yeah.
That will stop. And I believe, I recall King Banyan talking about that window of time where the federal unemployment benefits were gone. It did have an impact. We did see a change in people returning into, fewer position vacancies. So we're anticipating it will. And so it becomes, as Gail was outlining, how do our employers prepare for that? I think as, lay people too, what can we do to help change that? There are a lot of people who've left the workforce and may not have intended for it to be a permanent thing, but one of the things we know is that the longer someone's out of work, the less likely or the more difficult it is to get them to return. Having that, if there are people in your lives that are in that situation, being able to help encourage them, that they're part of the solution, that this brings value to the community, to their lives, and the like. So we're always looking for every corner for where is there someone that's not in the labor force that, probably could or should be, with a little bit of coaching and prompting.
Right. If people do want to find out more about the jobs available, what is the best place to go to? Yeah.
They definitely should check out stcloudshines.com. That talks about all the great things in our community, plus JobSpot and those 7,000 jobs that are available. Plus, for those job seekers, there is a multitude of tips and advice and helpful tools to help them get ready for the job force and find that perfect job. So we would love to help assist. And again, if employers are concerned about this topic, certainly feel free to share their concerns with us or their local legislators. We just want to work on this together to get those people back to work so our community can continue to grow and prosper.
Yeah, fantastic. Thank you both for coming in. Good to see you.
Thank you.
That's Gail Cruikshank, Talent Director, and Patti Gartland, President, both from the Greater St. Cloud Development Corporation.